Welcome, everyone. Noah here. This is the first in a series of podcasts about Dynamic Communities Community Summit, which is scheduled for October 19th through the 23rd in Orlando, Florida. Here it is, the first part of June, but this will be here in no time at all. We'll be talking with Academy class and session presenters leading up to the conference. And today we have a very busy guy with us, David Musgrave. David, you on the phone with us?
I am. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you here. So, I think it's really cool for us to start off with my Southern accent and your Australian accent on one podcast. So that'll get everybody mixed up there. And for those of you who have not met David before, he's been to plenty of summit conferences and probably a lot of other conferences as well. But I know you from Summit. You have your own consulting practice, Winthrop Development Consultants. You have been recognized probably many times as a Microsoft MVP, a GPUG All-Star, and a Community Summit Legend. So a lot of great titles behind your name there.
It's not what I do it for, but being recognized is a lovely reward.
And I was looking over the schedule for what's coming up in Summit. Summit is on their website scheduled for the 19th through the 23rd, but you're actually going to be there for like the whole 2 weeks in a row.
I am. My first session or first training starts the week beforehand, before Summit. So it's actually important that you're helping me get the word out.
Good, awesome. So you got a 5-day boot camp that's through Academy classes. It's titled Pre-Conference GP Dexterity Product Fundamentals 5-day boot camp, and that starts on that Monday, October 13th, right?
Yep, 13th, and it runs 5 full days through to Friday the 17th.
5 full days for that one. So anybody who signs up for it, they're going to be there for all 5 days, right? It's not like they just go for part of it. You have different people the rest of the week.
Yeah, the course itself is, I like to describe it a little bit like Lego blocks, because everything you do builds upon what you've done the previous projects. So you've got to be there the full 5 days.
Gotcha. And I see the list on their website. They've already got that up and ready for everybody. This is under the development and architecture tracks.
Yeah, so Dexterity is the development environment. It's more than just a language. It's an entire development environment that is behind Dynamics GP. And it was one of the fundamental design decisions that Great Plains at that time made when they were developing the Dynamics system, was to have a development environment that could then be given to partners and independent software vendors to create add-on products, which is why the GP ecosystem has so many add-on products and so much customization available for it. So this bootcamp is an introduction into the Dexterity language with enough information to get you started and make you dangerous.
Awesome. And you've done this session, this class before, correct?
Yeah, I've presented this at the last few summits, but I was actually the first non-Great Plains person or non-Great Plains employee to be able to present Dexterity many years ago. I went to Fargo and was certified and became their first non-employee instructor, and also the first international instructor for Dexterity.
Do you want to tell everybody what year that was or how long ago it was?
Oh, well, that is scary because I think I'm trying to think. It was it's way before the Microsoft days. I think it was about 96.
96.
Yeah.
So a little bit before I started there.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
I started in 2001 with Great Plains. So I had been to Fargo. I never knew the other older offices for Great Plains. I knew the new Horizon. I think it was called Horizon, the first
Yes.
nice big one on campus. So I was there when that
Yeah,
one was finished.
I had been to the older offices. I'm not going to say original offices because they weren't, but I had been to the older offices. But Horizon was an amazing building when it was first built, and I mean the Fargo campus has got some great architecture. It's just a shame they put it in a place that gets negative 40 degrees,
Uh,
and that's negative 40 in both scales.
It is. I've been there in the cold of winter and in the heat of summer. Being from the South, my first trip up there, the job interview, I remember I got off the plane. It was chilly. They gave me a rental car, and in the rental car, they gave me a little shovel, and I was like, "Well, what is this for?" In the morning, I had to scrape my car and pry the doors open. So that was
That's
a fond memory of mine.
one of my first experiences in Fargo was, I mean, I try to always avoid winter, but I have been there in winter a couple of times. But I remember seeing plugs hanging out of the bonnets of out of the hoods of
Hmm.
a lot of the cars, and I was thinking, surely these are not electric cars. And I had to ask, and that's where I learnt the whole concept of having an engine block heater that stops your engine from seizing up in the cold. And it's like, that's
Yep.
just so foreign. In Perth, we barely get below freezing and never have snow. We might, have the odd frost, but my wife had never seen snow until we traveled overseas.
Awesome stories there. Well, hey,
Yeah,
for the 5-day boot camp class, registration's already open, right? So I don't know if they
yeah,
have already
yeah.
given
So
any numbers.
the registration is open, and basically lunches are provided. It's 5 days, and the cost is going to be 3,000 US. So, but that's, you got my undivided attention for those 5 days. They're a lot of fun. We do have everybody who takes the class really enjoys it, and they learn lots. And the thing is that if you are somebody who is working with GP, whether or not you're plan to work with the Dexterity environment, if you're working with VBA, if you're working with Visual Studio Tools, this training is invaluable because it helps you understand how GP works. I've had Visual Studio developers come along on this training and they've gone, oh my God, I've always wondered why we're doing things that way. Now it all makes sense. So it is really a valuable bit of training, and we're obviously aware that Microsoft Dynamics GP has end of support announcement, so we are nearing the end of support. That doesn't mean it's end of life though. The product will continue to be usable quite happily after Microsoft has decided to stop supporting. The ISV community and many of the partners are planning to keep working with GP while the customer base still wants to stay on GP, which means that the resources available for GP development, that's going to, it's obvious it's going to decrease. So this is where it's really important for customers and partners who don't have the development skills already to be able to get up to speed and be able to support their own systems and be able to support their customers. So this is open to both partners and customers. And if you've got any plans to stay with GP and be involved in any sort of customization with GP, this course is for you.
Right, and you are very right there about GP being around a lot longer than what they say the end date is, because, like, they ended support and development on FRX for GP over a decade ago. And we still have clients still using FRX.
Yeah.
So if
And
you have a,
when
uh-huh,
did they stop support on Solomon?
gosh, I don't even know. It had to be
A
right
long
after
time ago, and
I
Solomon
started.
is still out there.
Yep. So that community is strong, and once a group of people love the product, they stick with it.
Absolutely.
And
I mean,
so you did say
it's a
that.
great mature product that has many of the features that are available in the newer products. It's robust, reliable, and with the ISV community, if you don't just look at what is available from Microsoft, the ISV community fill any of the gaps that Microsoft doesn't.
And David, you said that there's gonna be a lot of partners that attend this, but you'll probably have a lot of IT staff developers from end users as well. Is
That's
that
that
correct?
that's what we're hoping for. The class numbers have gone up and down through the years. I mean, Microsoft announcing end of support doesn't help, but this is
Hmm.
this is it just, to me, it just makes it even more important to get up to speed on being able to support your own products and be able to support your own systems. So, I suppose one thing I would say is that if you are a customer who has custom code written for you in Dexterity, make sure that you have the source code, um, because you never know whether the partner is going to be able to continue supporting you into the future. And if you've paid for that software to be developed for you, you should have the source code for it.
Good point, sir. Thank you. So that's your 5-day class for GP Dexterity Product Fundamentals 5-day boot camp. That's that Monday the 13th through Friday the 17th, 8 to 5, all 5 of those days. And then you have another class. You have a break on Saturday, so good for you there. Uh,
That's my sightseeing break.
awesome. Catch some Disney World time or Universal. Universal's opened a lot of new rides there.
Yeah, my wife who comes
Um,
with me is not all that interested in the theme parks, and she's not a big shopper
uh
either. So we'll go find something else to look at.
Okay. If I think of some ideas for you, I'll send them your way.
Please do.
Uh, and then on Sunday, you've got another class, which is again all day, 8 to 5 o'clock. It's named Optimizing Your System with GP Power Tools. You want to tell everybody a little bit about that class for them?
Yeah, just before we move on, I just want to make sure that people are aware that, just a final reminder with the Dexterity class, it's the week before Summit. And sometimes we've had people come to the Dexterity class and not stay for Summit. My recommendation is that you come to the class and stay for Summit. But 2 weeks, is out of the office can sometimes be difficult. But I'm not sure how many more times I'm going to be able to run this class. So this is an opportunity to get that knowledge. So now moving on so I mentioned ISV products. So GP Power Tools is my ISV, one of my ISV products. It's my primary product, and it comes from the MBS support debugging tool, which I wrote when I was a Microsoft employee, and when I left Microsoft. With the help of Pam Mashalik, I was able to actually get the rights to the source code of that out of Microsoft, which is fairly rare. And I was able then to take that product, which was something that only I had worked on anyway, and that Microsoft wanted the product to continue, which it wouldn't have continued when I left Microsoft had I not got access to the code. So that product is designed to help you support your systems, but it has a whole load of other features. So the tool has grown significantly since 2014 when I left Microsoft. So yeah, 10 years worth of development, and it is still being developed. Build 32 will be released in the next month or so, and that training will include all of the new features for Build 32, and there's quite a lot in there. So if you want to be able to administer your system better, if you want to improve usability, if you want to handle security better, if you want to be able to write customizations or use it for debugging intermittent issues, if you want to have no code, low code customization of GP, so without needing to be a developer. If you want to be able to, as a database admin, run tools such as space recovery and compression, generate views into into the GP tables that have nice names, there's just a whole mass of features across the 4 main modules, and we'll take you through all of those and give you lots of examples, and just make sure everybody is fully aware of what the full suite of GP Power Tools is capable of doing.
Good. And for both of those classes, the 5-day and for this GP Power Tools class, do you have a certain number of spots that are available? Is it like are you aiming for 10 people, 20 people? Do you have anything in mind there for that?
There probably is an upper limit, but I haven't really set one. I can tell you that one time I did a dexterity class with 17, and that was really hard work. But I would love to have, that many people. I think, somewhere around 10 to 15 people is probably where I'm looking at my upper limits. But um, the more the merrier. I think I would love people to take the opportunity to learn this. Um, with GP Power Tools, there is quite a large customer base out there, and I know that they're not using all of the product. And everything that's in GP Power Tools is there because customers asked for it. Every time we find a problem with GP or some issue, that's what generates changes in and new features in GP Power Tools. It is basically there to solve all of your problems.
And David, on the Summit website, they've got 3 other sessions. I don't think these are classes. I think they're sessions that they just haven't scheduled for you yet.
They're not
And
scheduled, but
we
they
can
have
always
approved
okay.
those. Yes. So they're
So
they're
those
the
are going to be
concurrent
during the actual
sessions.
Summit days.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the other thing is I've just also signed up for a sponsor session. So I will also be presenting a GP Power Tools sponsor session, 50-minute session. Now the trouble is that GP Power Tools probably before the new build probably took 90 minutes to present because there's so much in there. So I'm trying to work out what I can show off in 50 minutes. It might just have to be some of the new stuff. Um, uh, but when I normally do presentations, I like to do demos, particularly live demos, because one, they're fun and they show that the product actually does work. I don't do any of the
Hmm.
smoke and mirrors stuff. Um, so yeah, we've got the I'm trying to remember exactly what sessions got approved. Let me have a look. So
Well, there's
um,
3. One says another 25 dexterity development tricks and hacks in 50 minutes.
yep,
Another one is Microsoft Dynamics GP Excellence Super Session.
yep, and then the customizing one.
There's it doesn't say customizing. It says replacing Visual Basic for applications in your Microsoft Dynamics GP system.
Yeah. So the dexterity tips and tricks. I have a slide deck with that. I think it has 125 tips and tricks in it. And last year I represented the first 25 of those. They are from a session that I have presented previously at the technical conferences that used to be in Fargo. So this is going to be the next 25 tips. But if you download the slide deck, it has actually all 125 in there. So you've got lots and lots of valuable information. The tips and tricks are mainly dexterity, but there is some stuff in there for Visual Studio developers as well. The replacing VBA session, so that's the one that's involving customization. Basically, VBA is end of life. And has been end of life for a while. And GP Power Tools is one of the solutions that you can use to replace VBA. So we'll also be talking about using Visual Studio tools. But we look at basically how you can get away from VBA, which other than it's not supported, it doesn't work on the newer Windows servers. So this is how you can replace VBA and move on and keep your GP system running, and improve on whatever customization tweaks you've got. And then the super session, we haven't quite worked out what that is, but I can tell you it'll be a lot of fun. It has Amber Bell, Kerry Hatley, and myself. arguing in front of you guys about how to solve all kinds of problems. It's
Awesome.
funny because Amber very much is an application person. Kerry's background is SQL Server, and my background is sort of development and dexterity. So with the three of us discussing different issues, it's a lot of fun. I know that last year's session was a hit, and it was the first time that we tried doing this super session. So we've got to come up with some new stuff to present. But it'll be a lot of fun with three of the geniuses in the GP world.
Fantastic. I think I am recording with Amber, maybe tomorrow even, for her topics there. So I'll mention
If you,
that during
as
the
much as
podcast.
as much as I love Amber, come to my sessions, not hers. No, if depending on what you need, Amber's sessions are awesome. So I can't say enough good things about her.
Yep. So everybody, registration is open. October is going to be here in no time at all. The things that David's been talking about were his classes that actually are before Summit. They're hosted through Academy classes. And then Summit is the second week, 19th through 23rd. A lot of things going on. David, you are going to be a exhausted Australian by the time you leave the States.
I Well, keep in mind that I also will have an expo booth. So if you want to learn more about anything that I'm up to, you feel free to come and visit me at my expo booth. It's number 310. And if you look on my website, particularly at the articles that talk about the training, you'll find a 10% discount code for registering for Summit. So you can get 10% off your Summit registration.
Great. Thank you for the tips there. Everybody will appreciate those. And yeah, you're right. It is hard to sometimes it's hard to ask all the questions in a session or a class that you want to. Sometimes people are intimidated being in such a large environment with everybody else sitting around you. So the booth time is a great place for people to meet up with you, get their questions answered one-on-one without having to worry about everybody else's hearing what they're asking and everything.
Absolutely. And we have Australian chocolate.
Australia. What about
Tim Tams.
Vegemite?
We have had
Tams.
Yeah, we have had Vegemite. I don't know whether we'll do it this year. If you want to try Vegemite, we will serve it to you the way it's meant to be served. And I know that this is not necessarily what this podcast is about, but the reason most Americans don't like Vegemite is that they spread it thick like peanut butter. And I've worked out that if I say to you, would you spread wasabi thick like peanut butter on a piece of bread and eat it? And they'll go, no. And I say, well, don't do it to Vegemite either. It is super concentrated and needs to be spread very thin on warm buttered toast.
Good tip.
Then it is quite nice. Take a spoonful of it, and you will not be happy.
All right, good stuff there, David. Appreciate the tips.
Yeah, but Tim Tams are better.
They are. Yep, that's the chocolate, right?
Yeah, it's a chocolate biscuit or cookie, if you want to try American speak, that is chocolate coated, and it's quite yummy. And there is a fun way of eating it, so I can challenge people to look up the Tim Tam Slam.
Awesome. Well, everybody is going to be looking forward to it. See David at his booth. Go to his classes before Summit and his sessions during Summit. Should be a lot of great information he's got for the community, as always, because you've been doing this for a lot of years. So I look forward to seeing you down there again in Orlando, which is a great venue. Hopefully, hurricanes will be done by then. I'm sure they will be. So we'll all have a safe trip down there to Orlando.
Awesome. Thank you.
David, anything else before I wrap up this call?
I'm just looking forward to seeing everybody again. Please register early. It helps make sure that the sessions go ahead and that you get your spot.
All right, thank you, David. Enjoy your weekend. You are already ahead of me by like I think 8 hours. So it's 8:30 here. I think it's 9:30 there. Is it? Yeah,
Yep,
9:30.
9:30. Yep.
Oh,
So I'm already
even
on
more
my
hours.
my. That's 9:30, as in the next day.
Yep. All right. Well, enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for the time today, and we look forward to seeing you in Orlando.
Excellent, and thank you very much for having me on your show.